Okay, compound functions, these are basically what you can call piecing together or gluing functions. So we glue these functions based on some rules. For example, let's say simplest example, the way this is written is it's the same so far, but we use a big curly brace to say that these are two functions being pieced together, right? So let's say my function is 2 if x is greater than or equal to 0 and negative 2 if x is less than 0. So since we have learned so many different things about functions, let's try to find all of those. So first of all, evaluating. How do you evaluate? F of 10. So if I am finding f of 10, then what is x? This means that x equals 10. So you check, is 10 greater than or equal to 0? Answer is yes. Then use that definition. And what is that definition? When x is greater than 0, it gives an output of 2. So f10 is 2. But f of negative 10 is, if you check, negative 10 is less than 0. So it gives me negative 2. If you were to graph this, what this is saying is whenever your input is positive or 0, your output is fixed at 2. So it's just a straight line. And whenever your output is less than 2, it's negative 2, but this is hollow because at 0, it has value 2. And also because for it to be a function, it has to have one value, not 2. Now this, another example, these compound functions don't necessarily have to be constant. You can have a function which says it's x plus 1, let's say, when x is positive, and x minus 1 when x is negative. So in this case, how do you evaluate? So f of 2, you check, is 2 greater than 0? Yes. Then use x plus 1. But what is x? X is 2. So 2 plus 1 is 3. That means f of 2 is 3. F of negative 2, so you ask, is negative 2 greater than 0? No. Then you move on to the next definition. Is negative 2 less than 0? Yes. Then you use x minus 1. So negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So this is going to give you an output of negative 3. And in fact, if you plot this, what this is doing is, for positive number, whatever input you give, it's adding 1. So 0 becomes a 1, 1 becomes a 2, it's a straight line. And for negative numbers, it is subtracting 1. So just about 0, it's negative 1, but hollow, and it's like that. Okay, so that's called a compound function. Now remember, these rules can be anything, right? These can be any conditions. So what a compound function really is it's a function which is defined as a bunch of different functions, right? And under certain conditions on x. So it's like a, that's why it's piecing together functions. You're taking two functions and you're gluing them together. And that's called a compound function. And compound functions are useful because in a lot of scenarios, you have conditions about this is what happens when the input is in this range, this is what happens when it's out of this range, if it's below this range, and so on. So sometimes it's not straightforward, if input this, then output this. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of that video.